today in our entitled people. But she doesn't look disabled. So this is a fun one, and honestly glad I got to witness it. So my Nana has a bunch of problems, and her doctor gave her one of those tag things that allows her to use the disabled parking spaces. My Nana doesn't take shit from anyone and honestly has the biggest pair of cojones, balls for you non-Spanish speakers, and I love her for it. Nothing too dramatic happened, but honestly this was fun to be there for. So my Nana needed to go to the store, and we were able to get one of the disabled spots, which we normally don't because people don't care and take 'em up disabled or not. I get out and see this textbook whale of a Karen get out of her car a few spaces down. I think nothing of it, though I can tell she's mad about something. Then it hits me her blue little Honda was trying to cut my Nana off for the space, which wasn't happening 'cause Nana's a badass. I help my Nana out of the car, as her back's been bad lately, and as I'm helping her out this Karen says in the loudest tone to her, I'm assuming sister, well, she doesn't look disabled. Why did she take the spot? Now my Nana wasn't gonna day anything till the whale piped up. I deserve that spot. My ankles are bad, so are mine, but I don't whine. You should pull out and give me that spot. You don't even look disabled. Directed it, said Nana. Nana, without skipping a bit, turned around and said, well, I don't give a flying f what your fat, overweight motherfucking s thinks. I have a doctor's approved ticket for that spot, and you're fat. I wouldn't need it if you didn't eat McDonald's every 5 minutes of the day. Get the fuck out my face, and proceeded to stomp towards the store entrance, me trying to contain my laughter and astonishment could only come out at Nana as I followed her in. Maybe this isn't funny to all, but I just found it hilarious that my Nana no problems shut her Karen down in a few seconds flat. This next one is entitled Old Lady Doesn't Care About Babies After Chernobyl Tragedy. So this is a story my dad told me after I watched both Chernobyl and asked him about how it was in Switzerland. In Switzerland, we didn't really got affected that much, but the government advised people not to buy fresh milk and fresh vegetables from the region since we had some fall here as well, and the milk would likely be contaminated. So naturally a lot of people bought milk powder instead, and the stores couldn't meet the demand. My dad went shopping, and the scene he witnessed was just unbelievable. A mother with her child, Max 15 years old, was at the supermarket he went to, and she was just about to take the last milk powder package for her child as an old lady, approx 85 years, standing behind her, just ripped the package out of the woman's hand and started to walk away. Just as a little info, back then it was still commonly believed that kids should drink a lot of milk. Just to let you guys understand better how rugged that old lady was. My dad can't recall the exact conversation, but it was something along the lines like this. The mother, understandably irritated, went after her. Excuse me, ma'am, I was just about to buy this for my child. Old lady. Yes, I noticed, but that is the last package, so I should take it. The mother. Ma'am, I have a kid. Old lady. You can buy the normal milk. The mother. Please, the normal milk is dangerous for my kid. The lady. So you want me, a weak old woman, to drink the poisonous milk? I, who have worked very hard in my life, should drink the milk and get cancer so that your kid, that hasn't worked a day in his life, can have his hot chocolate. I deserve this more. The lady walked off, now just thinking about how entitled that old woman was to take away the last not contaminated milk source from a child in a time where people believed that milk was important to the child, and her reasoning was that the kid didn't work yet. This next one is entitled, F tells me I'm racist and a member to my boss. I used to work as a ride operator at Pacific Park. There was one ride they used to have a little plane that could be controlled by the kids. The ride could seat up to 4 children, however, we rarely mixed guests from different groups in the same plane. Depending on how crowded it was, we would only seat one child per plane so their parents could take pictures, and the kid can have their fun. It's not very entertaining sitting and letting another kid drive it. On rare occasions, we would ask the child if they would mind sitting with someone else, and then we ask their parents as well to make extra sure it's okay. One busy day I was working at this ride and doing like 1,000 things at once. I had up to 6 or so kids in line, and all planes were full each round. I also had to count the minutes the ride would go on for and stop it manually. And on top of that, keep an eye on all surroundings and each kid in each plane. There wasn't much room for looking away from the ride, since a kid can unbuckle themselves and fly out at any time if I don't keep my eye on them. One round I was able to buckle up all the kites and run over to the control panel to turn it on, before I was suddenly stopped by an F putting his hand in front of me. I asked him to move, but he assures me that I still need to put his daughter in the ride as well. He points to a young girl standing next to him, not even in line. I then pointed to the end of the line, telling him he needs to wait after all these people. He instantly got upset and gestures to this little boy alone in one of the planes, asking why I can't just put her with him. I told him the explanation of why he is alone while I started the ride, since him stopping me was already making the line longer. As I was explaining, he would snap his fingers at me, trying to take my attention away from the ride. He said, "Oh, so you won't let her sit next to that boy because she's black?" I shook my head, not even sure what to say. He then walked over to all the people in line and starts yelling about how I'm racist and member and harassing them. I immediately picked up the phone and called the ride office. I asked for a specific manager to come over as soon as possible. As he's blabbing on, the ride ends, and I get all the kids off safely. Once I close the gate, he starts to send his child through the line to the front. I just asked her to stand back and let the other kids on, who was already patiently waiting. The If just started to yell louder until my manager, who happened to be black, came over to help, with security not far behind. The F goes off on him, saying I'm a white slut, a racist, a member, and that he shouldn't have hired me. My manager didn't get a word in for a while and just listened. Once the F said all he could, my manager simply says, "You know, being a racist towards the other side won't move this society forward in any way. My employee is not only nothing of how you described, but I have full confidence in her that she did what she could to help you before you harassed her." Before the F could even say anything back, the security gently escorted him away, tail between his legs. The whole line clapped, and I was so happy to know I worked for a company that would always have my back and knows exactly who they are hiring. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to like, subscribe, smash the bell, and whatever else our YouTube overlords require nowadays.